Hi, my name is Mark Gillan and the video tutorial for tables, understanding tables. Right, so let's have a wee look at the use of tables to view information and to convey data. So viewing information. So tables allow us to put data into a structured, viewable, it's an easier way to look at information and to very quickly look at information rather than a bunch of data that's going to be very haphazard where we have a bit here, a bit there, and a bit everywhere. Right, so tables tends to be tabular format. It tends to be with columns and rows, just similar to a database. So here's an example here for player scores for golf, football, shinty, and tennis for two players, Evita and Linda. And it gives all the scores there, and we can see straight away from that information certain things. So we can. Now we use tables in our everyday life, so we do. There's various different reasons we look up train timetables to see when the next train is and whether we'll get to a meeting on time, for example. We do the same for bus timetables, price grids to actually see how much something is, and we'll look down and then across as to how much it will be. We look at data reports, so we do. Different listings. It can be all sorts of listings. We can make listings ourselves as to the lottery, who's paid into the lottery, and so on, and keep tabs on it. So it can be done on paper, it can be done in databases, it can be done electronically. So there's school, colleges, registers, us lecturers, we keep a register of our students, we keep a note of how they're doing as well. And also there's competition scoring. It could be a night out and we have a game of pool, snooker, or football, or it could be tennis, golf, crazy golf. Yes, I like crazy golf. Imagine me, yeah. Right, and there's so much more. So let's have another wee look. If we have a wee look at just a wee two-row table plus a header row, and it's expanded slightly. So although I say a two-row table, it's quite not now. So just to let you see it. So we've now got an edited one. So that's the good thing about tables as well, is that we can add in additional records, and the records tend to be the rows. So we've got a header row at the top that lets us know the player scores for golf, football, shinty, and tennis. And we've got the records themselves with the rows. So the results for Evita, Linda, and Petra. So we can quickly see, as we saw before, we had Evita and Linda. We've now got an extra one for Petra as well. So Evita and Linda, we could actually see there that Evita and Linda are exactly the same on scores there for golf. Evita is beating Linda 3-2 on football, 2-1 on shinty, and 5-3 on tennis. And that's why we tend to have a league tables when we do things, so the best is at the top. And it quickly lets us know who's the best and who's maybe towards the bottom there competing at the one. So we can quickly see records and we can have an overall flavour of what tables are actually telling us, and especially if they're put into some sort of order. Now, I've already said there that what we have at the top is the headers, and then we have usually an indication as to the records, as to whose record it is, and then we have the data for each of those records. It's easy for us to obtain that information and to be able to view that information, obtain information very quickly. So let's have another one here. We've got one for Greenock tide predictions, where if we look at this, we've got a column that tells us the day, and then we've another column for high or low. We've got a column for time, and we've got a column there for the height in meters. Notice the M there. So each of these are broken up into rows, which will be days of the week. And it's broken down then into the high tide and low tide for twice a day for each of low tide and high tide for each day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, for example, we can determine the high tide for Tuesday. If you just look down, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there's Tuesday, and we can look to see that the high tide is 11 minutes past 2, and also there's another high tide at 28 minutes past 2 in the afternoon, 14:28. We can also see the height. So the height of the first high tide on a Tuesday is predicted to be 3.22 metres. We can also determine low tides when they're due to happen, so maybe on a Friday evening. So if we look at the times there, Friday, down one column for the day, and then we go across for the column for the high or the lows, and it's the last one there for the evening for a low tide was 21:20, and we can also see that it's 0.51 metres. Try it out yourself. So we've already had a wee look at a couple, so what I want you to do is, from the same table there, the Greenwich Tide predictions, what I want you to do is see what you can find out from that. See if you can find out the low tide, when that's expected on a Friday night. Also, what is the height of the high tide on a Tuesday evening? When are the two low tide times for Wednesday? And what day has the latest nighttime high tide? If it was all just a jumbled up bunch of information, you might have had a wee bit of difficulty. This, you take your time and have a wee look. Pause the video, take your time, get the answers. And I'll see you in a minute after you've paused me. Okay, I don't know when you're going to pause me, but you should pause me. Pause me with a nice face. You know how sometimes when you pause and people make faces? Try and do me with a nice face. See you in a minute. Right, I'm back. You didn't have to do anything other than just pause and then get yourself the answers. It's important that you try these answers out in any of my video tutorials, and it's important that you try them out and then have a wee look to see the answers and then see how you've done. What it does do is it means that you are taking it in if you're getting the answers correct. Anyway, let's have a wee look at the answers. So we use the Greenwich Tide prediction table that's just opposite me there, and the first question, there's the answer. So low tide expecting a Friday night. Friday night, you look up the low tide, you look to see the times there, you know it's 24-hour clock, so 21:20 is a low tide for the Friday. The height of the high tide on the Tuesday is 3.35 metres. So if you look at the Tuesday there, high tide for the evening or afternoon, so it's 14:28 is the high tide. We also know the low tide there, so the high tide was going to be 14:28, so it's not quite the evening, is it? It's the afternoon. So I hope you weren't thrown too much by that. Just goes to show the table knew better than my question. Right, third one. When are the two low tide times for Wednesday? You should have had 7:51 and 20:11. And the last one, what day has the latest nighttime high tide? So all you had to do was look down the column for time. And what you're looking to do is to find the latest time for a high tide. So if you're looking down, you just look at the times there, and then you look back at the column to the left to the low tides and the high tides, and you should have found that it was Saturday, 16:38. So just a wee summary for data tables for us looking up information. So they're used in everyday use, train timetables, scorecards, and other things. They allow data to be structured for us to be able to see it quickly and easier. Provision gets to the purpose of the table and what to expect. So you usually have a title. So that tells us what the table is for, and we can see which table is the best table for us to be looking up. You then get header rows and for each of the columns. You also get titles for each, so you maybe get a column that's got the title for each of the records, for example, so that we can see the records, and each of the records are the rows going across the way. Hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial. There's plenty of others out there. Have fun, and thanks for watching. Bye just now.